Hello everybody, I'm the Lazy Kiwi and welcome back to another episode of Palia. We are back on episode 4 and last time we learned about having a ship. We were so close to becoming a full citizen, but unfortunately there's just this one whole new thing that we have to do, and that is befriend a villager and ask them to be our ship. Now that is something we'll be working on as we go because I am not gonna be able to finish that in one single episode. But today I started off, of course, by gathering up the grown crops and planting some new ones, of course, giving them some water as well. I then went on my way to go and sell these crops that I had because I was running so low on money, and boy, did this give me bank. I don't know, these crops really do sell for a lot. I think in the next episode maybe I might consider buying some more crop fields so that we can increase our crop output. I don't know. And I then ran back all the way home because I wanted to give you guys the grand tour of the interior of my house. Because off camera I decided to do a little bit of interior decorating. So now I have this new bedroom space, which it's not a lot, but it's really cute. We have a little closet area, a nice kitchen space with a quote-unquote island counter, our shelvings, our little dining space, and a brand new living space as well. So we just crammed all of that together into this one little room, but I do think it turned out really cute. I like it a lot, but let me know, of course, what do you guys think of this? But now it is time to get started on my main objective for today. Of course, getting a ship is up there on my list, but I will be working on that a little bit in between everything else, just getting to know the villager. And the villager that I chose for this will be Einar because he is just so cute. And so far my favorite activity to doing this is fishing, so I feel like it is suited to me. However, as I'm doing that in between, I'm going to see if I can complete as many other quests as I can as well, starting off by going to investigate the shrine where I was found. So I ran and made my way over to where I first spawned into this world, and right there I found this cool little chest thing, which was really fun. Of course, I had to loot it, and this gave me some horn wallpaper things and the chest as well. And then I made an offering to the phoenix, which this gave me a focus bonus of 25%. So, slay. Afterward, I made my way out of this room and went straight right to this ancient door, which is supposed to open with a battery. So, of course, I had to try that, and what do you know? It worked. I could enter the ancient ruins, and inside was this beautiful cave area with waterfalls and these beautiful big carvings, as well as what looked like a door with a note on it and a little bowl in the middle of the room. When I read this big door, it said, "Knowledge grows the mind even in times of strife. To enter here, you must supply that which grows life." What a weird little riddle. Of course, I will have to solve this because I can't just leave this be. Now, my solution to this very obvious problem was to go and speak to Gina. So I decided to go and give her a visit and see if maybe she knew anything about this. And when I finally found her, she said that the temple is full of water and there's a lot of water themes, so maybe I need something that holds water. You know, this got me thinking about the big bowl that I saw in the middle of the room. So of course I had to go back once again to test my theory. I ran up to the bowl and whipped out my watering can and started to water this bowl, and what would you know, this actually worked. It gave me this lovely little cutscene of the shrine thing opening and another like phoenix statue thing in the room. It was really majestical to say the least, okay? And when I was done, Gina was just right next to me. It gave me such a jump scare. I think she just somehow teleported here, because what the heck do you mean? And she told me to scout ahead, and this is where I found the phoenix statue. It said something about protecting the place and its people and letting its waves wash away our blank. I don't know what the last word was. The final word was apparently too faded to read. But walking a bit further, there was a statue in this beautiful, beautiful room with this big building in the back. But the statue was headless, which was a little bit weird, but it's okay, it's okay. Anyway, this statue read something about not giving up faith as the king will save us. And after reading that, I jumped off of the cliff a few times into the water beneath me, which obviously that did not work. So I went back to Gina to see if there was a solution to this. She told me that I shouldn't try to navigate the area without a glider because it could be dangerous, and that I should go and talk to Najima in Bahari Bay. So yeah, that's what I set off to go and do. I made my way to Bahari Bay, and definitely not even once did I try to jump off of a cliff like a psychopath. Like, who would even do that? But when I got to Najima, she told me that she would most certainly be able to help me out with the glider, because her dad doesn't let her do anything. He doesn't let her go into the mines. He doesn't want her jumping off of cliffs. But that doesn't matter. The point is, he wouldn't let her do it, so I should be her test subject. Of course. All I would need to do is bring her the materials that she would need. So we were gonna go on a quest to go and gather them. All I would need to craft this glider is 3 sapwood planks, 2 fabric, and 5 leather, which shouldn't be too hard to find. Luckily for me, I already have a lot of these sapwood planks. I kind of made a bunch of those before. So that one was a really easy to get. And I also had some hide that I had gathered on the way here. So I started putting those into my fabric machine thing to make my leather. Those were the only 2 that I could currently work on, so I decided to go and make my way around town. And this is when I talked to Ashura, who asked me to go and see Reth to give him his chores. Which, of course, Reth, the sweet talker that he is, got me to do all of his chores instead. So now I have a heck ton of errands to run for my guy. Luckily he's cute, so I don't mind helping. And at this point he's definitely one of my top choices for a love interest, because he's funny and he can somewhat cook. Okay, I'm not gonna give this man a lot of rep by saying he's an amazing cook, but he can at least make like lettuce soup or something, which sounds disgusting, but let's move on. I went on to deliver one of his meals to Ash, who was only throwing around insults and pretty much throwing a tantrum as per usual. What a snob. So when I was done with her, I went on my way to go and find Naya, who I was supposed to get pickles from, and he was on the farms, which is a little ways away, but I did find him pretty easily. And I might add, he is also a pretty handsome fellow. And now I only needed to go and pick up the meat from Hassian, who was nowhere to be found. So instead, I went home to check on my leather, which was pretty much all done as well. And instead of making the fabric, which would need cotton, which I was growing, so pretty much already busy with that, but it would still take a few days for me to grow that. So instead of doing that, I decided to see if I can go buy fabric somewhere. Luckily, on my way, I spotted Hassian, so I went to him to go and get the meat for Ref. Again, my guy is always rude, but once again, still such a handsome fellow. So at this point, Ref, Hassian, and Naya is in my top 3 for love interests. So let me know which one is your favorite. I might put up a poll for this later on if we get to know them all a little bit better. But I don't know, those are my top 3 for now. But anyway, I got the meat, and so I returned to go and give in the chores to Ashura, who was oh so delighted that Ref had finally completed all of his tasks. Why yes, of course, it was totally Ref. It wasn't me, not at all. Anyway, I then made my way to the furniture store to buy myself 2 pieces of fabric, which is insanely expensive, by the way. But it's okay because now at least I had absolutely everything that I needed for my glider. So I decided to go ahead and return to Najima to go and get it. And just like that, after speaking to her, I finally had my glider. This was amazing. So I of course had to give it a go immediately. I climbed up a mountain like a pro mountain climber that I am with my bare fists, and then running to the edge of the cliff, I went jumping down, gliding all the way to the bottom. This was so much fun. I absolutely love this thing. It's probably my favorite thing in this game now. I am so gonna overuse this, as you can already tell by me just jumping around and gliding the whole time. I thought that whilst I was in this area, I might as well also find a few shells for a quest that Gel had given to me. And I have to admit, they were pretty easy to find. So after I got all of the shells that I needed, I went back to go and see if I can give them to him. When I found him, he was sleeping, but that doesn't matter. I just woke him up real quick to give him the shells, and he was really happy to receive them, and it even improved our relationship to level 2. This reminded me that I had to go and have my daily chat with Einar as well, cause you know I would really like to get my shep sooner rather than later. But then I decided to set off and go and talk to Gina at the mysterious temple. She told me to go over and see what the mysterious light was, so of course I took my glider and made my way into the temple. It took me a little while to figure out exactly where to go, because at first I thought I needed to open this strange door which just would not budge, but then eventually, I saw this little bubbling puddle on the ground and decided to go and stand in it, when all of a sudden, it burst at me into the air, letting me fly up so high that I went all the way to the top of this temple. This is where I found a puzzle, which I of course had to try and complete. And to be completely honest with you guys, this puzzle was extremely easy to complete. Like, probably a minute, maybe even less. Let's be real, this was so fast. I'm not even kidding. So when I was done, I got again a cute little cutscene thingamabobby showing me this strange mysterious room lighting up little thing on the wall. It was crazy to say the least. So I then went back to Gina afterward, and she told me that we should go and check out these other ruins near Hekla's tent. I'm assuming this is where we just saw the thing light up on the wall. And unlike Gina, I cannot just teleport anywhere in the world at any time. So I made my way over there, gliding as I go, because this was so entertaining, you know. However, I completely forgot to record, and we lost a lot of the footage for this, but to give you guys the gist of it, I do need to complete a bunch of little things to put into that circle thing that you saw on the wall. Some of these things include things like a giant goldfish, a vampire crab, and a long-nosed unicorn fish thing. Where I would find all of this, I had no idea, but there would at some point probably be a way to get them, I hope. And this is when Gina also told me that I have to go and see if I can learn more about the other flow batteries from Hassian. So of course I went to his place, where he then told me that he had found half of a flow battery. The other half is buried somewhere around his camp, thanks to his Bloomhound Tau. So of course that was gonna be much more difficult than one would think, so I of course am gonna leave this for the next episode. So I do apologize that this video is a bit shorter than I would initially have hoped for it to be, but of course I did lose a little bit of footage for this, but that is everything for today. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, please do consider liking and subscribing to my channel, as it really does help me out, and I will definitely see you all in another video. Goodbye, everybody!